I feel like it's always so confusing to me when people come into the live and aren't happy with the content of the live because, like, no one is forcing you to be here.
Literally. And my live was a get ready with me for this podcast. I was like doing my makeup and stuff. He was going, "You're so boring. That's why only 7 people are here." I'm like, "You're one of the 7."
Right.
Like, what is going on? I'm so confused.
Hello and welcome to Two Queens, Two Crowns. I'm your host, KJ Miller, founder, lecturer, and content creator.
And I'm Erica Manganelli, pop culture humorist and content creator.
And today on the show, we are actually going to do a bit of a mini-sode because it is our bonus episode for October. Yeah. And we're going to dive into all of the drama with Sabrina Carpenter and Camila Cabello because, I don't know. People have now had a couple months to talk about it. And I feel like I kind of want to talk about it too. And I want to talk about it with you.
Yes, let's do it. I'm excited. I've been hearing all about this drama.
But did you know about it before,
No.
Sabrina's album dropped and all of that?
Nope. It wasn't even on my radar that they ever dated. I mean, I obviously knew about Sean and Camilla, but I didn't know about Sabrina Carpenter. I didn't know there was any sort of involvement or entanglement there. Yeah. And I've never talked about it on my channel either. So this is great.
Me neither. Never spoken about it. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. And of course, we'll also get into some of the many comments that we received about the Wicked movie poster. We'll get into all of that right after this. All right, if you're hearing this, but you are not a subscriber to our Patreon, that means you are listening to the teaser, which means you're only getting part of the episode. And we want you to get the full episode. So join us on patreon.com, Two Queens, Two Crowns, so that you too can listen to monthly bonus episodes. And as always, if for some reason you don't want to subscribe or you can't subscribe or it's just not on your radar or something to do right now, that's okay too. There will still be plenty of free content coming to you every single month. Another quick announcement is that my course Startup Starter Kit is launching this Friday. So if you've always wanted to launch a startup and you've never known how, just head to kjmiller.co to join the waitlist and be notified when we launch this Friday. All right, with that, let's get back to the show. So let's dive into these comments, Erica. Do you know how many views our post about the Wicked movie poster has now on TikTok?
Yeah, I think it's about 400,000 plus. I was grateful that it stopped there.
It's currently at 451,000. When I texted you on Saturday, I was shocked because it was at 260, which by the way, when it was at 260, it was already the most viewed video on the Two Queens, Two Crowns by a lot. Okay. I think the second most maybe had 200K. So it had already broken the record and now it's at almost 500,000 views.
Yeah. I was thinking that was kind of my fault because people love to drag me. And I was thinking when I saw that it got so many more views than the other videos, I'm like, dang, she's going to regret having me on this podcast.
No, I don't regret it at all. I think you are a good luck charm because I think you're bringing the views, and
I am.
Even if it's angry views, look, views are views. Okay,
it's negative press, but any press, right?
So let's look at some of these comments. All right, because my God. Now, first, just to give our listeners some context, if you missed the last episode, we were talking about Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And we mentioned the fact that there had been this drama surrounding the movie poster because the movie poster is different from the Wicked musical poster. And one of the big differences is in the musical poster, Elphaba's eyes are completely hidden behind her hat, and she's got on red lipstick, and her mouth is kind of in a smirk. Whereas in the movie poster, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, you can see her eyes. The hat is not covering up her eyes, and her lips are green. Okay, so some fan, quote unquote fan, and we'll get into that, made an edit of the poster where he covered back up her eyes and changed the lips to red. And you and I both said it didn't look good. We prefer the original. Well, the people were mad.
Yeah, the people were mad. And one of the reasons why I like the original so much better than the fan edit was because Cynthia liked the original more than the fan edit. And I want to give her the right to feel that way.
I completely agree. Because I will say, when I first saw the fan edit, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I was just like, I mean, okay, but I didn't. I distinctly remember seeing it and thinking, not that great.
Yeah.
But then moving on with my day because I didn't think it was a big deal. But like you said, once Cynthia came out and she posted on Instagram saying, essentially, I don't like this fan art. Like, this is erasure. And, you know, basically also saying the reason you can see my eyes is because I'm using my eyes to communicate a message, and made it very clear she didn't like the fan edit. For me, that was enough for me to say, yeah, well, then it's problematic.
Yeah.
If you covering up this woman's face and changing her features is disrespectful to her or insulting to her, then it's just insulting. It's her image, right? She gets to decide what is and isn't kosher when it comes to her image.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you. Like, her saying that was enough for me to be like, yeah, all right, well then it's got to go. So anyway,
people were livid that we validated her feelings.
Oh, they were livid. The most liked comment is from somebody called Jimmy and Mike, and they just said, the edit looks way better. And that comment has 5,300 likes, by the way.
Wow.
The second most liked comment is from someone named Nay. She said, no, y'all are wrong. The red lip looked great.
And it's not that red lipstick on her looks bad. It's that she didn't like it.
She didn't like it. And also, again, I feel like the red lipstick on the green, because she's a Black woman, I feel like that comment, brown, red, and green don't go together. Okay. Yeah. And I feel like
people got mad at that too. They were like, green and red on the color wheel. I'm like, okay. Now we're going to color theory here.
Yeah, relax. All right, we have a comment from Brett saying fan poster is way better. And someone called I'll Just Have Coffee saying the fan edit looked great. So I don't know what you guys are even talking about. That has about 600 likes. There is a comment from someone named Sally, the fan art is elite. That has about 1,400 likes.
Wow.
And then, this one has a lot of likes. Someone called Cajun Cole, because we started the segment by saying people were enraged at the original poster. So this person said the only one enraged seemed to be Cynthia Erivo. And I replied to that one saying she was hurt, which she's allowed to be.
Right. I agree. She's allowed to have feelings about it. It's her own face.
It's her own face, and she's allowed to feel what she feels. And I mean, there were many, many, many more comments, most of which in that same tenor. But I actually saw even more people. I don't know if this was on this post. It may have been on one of my my individual posts, but basically people saying, oh no, they were definitely on this post too. People calling her a diva and saying she's being a diva. She's acting crazy. And someone literally said, I saw someone comment, it wasn't one of the most liked ones, so it would take me forever to find it, but they said, I literally am now going to pirate this film because I refuse to spend money on this entitled diva.
Which is so crazy because there's so many other people in the movie, and it's not like she funded the movie or something. She already got paid, guys. I hope you guys know that. Like, they already had to pay her to be in the movie.
So crazy. I replied and I said, that is dumb and rude. Okay?
I liked it. Because it is. That's so silly. You're going to pirate the movie. Get real.
Get real. Like, people are being insane. And honestly, I will just say to the people calling her a diva, and I saw someone say not only were they calling her a diva, but saying like, and she's been known for being a diva on Broadway.
Okay, so I saw that too. No, but I also, I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't personally know.
I had never heard that rumor about her.
But I had heard it last week after we filmed. I was on the Forbidden X site, and which is Twitter. Okay,
hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, I say forbidden because no one wants to go on there anymore.
Right.
But I was on Twitter and people were just talking about how she's like been a diva for a long time and that she was a Twitter troll. And then I went and tried to find her Twitter because I love a debunk, and I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, did she once have one and now she doesn't? Or I don't know. But that was a popular thing they were talking about.
Yeah, I did see that she has said some, I think, fairly regrettable things on Twitter. She deleted her Twitter account. And I think there was also a lot of discourse. I recall there being discourse around, like, because she played Harriet Tubman, she played Aretha Franklin, like her playing these Black American roles. There being discourse around, like, well, she's not Black American, she's Nigerian, and British at that. So I do remember there being some back and forth there. I don't remember the specifics of it, but to me, I'm not sure what that has to do with this. Okay, because what we're talking about right here isn't her being like, we're talking about her opinion on her own image and being hurt when people are online saying they prefer an image of her where you can barely see her face.
Yeah.
I think she's allowed to feel that way.
Trying to use that to like defend their take on it or whatever, that she's just like always on the internet complaining. So this is like nothing new. But I've never seen her complain once. Maybe I'm just not following it closely enough or something. I just never have heard any discourse around her until this.
Well, and I also just think it's such a trope that people love to bring up against Black women, us being angry, us being divas. Like, honestly, first of all, if she is a diva, I would say her vocal chops have earned her the title of diva. Yeah. Like when you can sing the way she can sing, okay, I think you get to be a diva. But I also feel like that's just like such a common trope to throw out against Black women that I'm just like, I'm not really here for it. And you know what else? You know what else I will say? The person who made this fan edit, I think on TikTok he goes by Furlazor. What is his name? Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
Okay. Yeah, see, I don't even know who it was.
But
did you see they asked Ariana Grande about the fan edit?
I did see that. I thought her answer was very diplomatic.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Very diplomatic. She kind of skirted the issue. She didn't really give an answer.
She skirted it. And she kind of credited it to AI, which I was like, I don't think it was AI. I think it was Photoshop.
It was Photoshop, but the person did use AI because within Photoshop you can use AI.
And she was like, we need to get more comfortable with AI, I think. And I was like, oh no, you didn't defend her enough. She's supposed to be like your bestie.
But she did say like, Cynthia's my sister and I love her and support her, and AI is so tricky and who knows, and it was just kind of a non-answer.
They caught her off guard. They caught her and she didn't know what to say. She was like,
she didn't know what to say. Okay, you know what, I can't find this man and I don't care about him anyway, but let me tell you, it's taking me too long to try and find this man, but here's what I don't like about him, okay, and I am pretty sure it's a man. I don't think I'm misgendering him. First, he made that edit, okay, and then people love the edit. Millions of people saw it. Then Cynthia posted saying she was hurt by it. She found it very hurtful. So then his next post, I don't know if you saw this, was, well, I'm adding eyes back to other movie posters since Cynthia Erivo was so mad that her eyes are covered.
Oh, is he the person who did that? I saw some edits with the eyes.
Yes.
I had no idea.
He like added the Sandra Bullock's eyes back to her. Yeah. What's that movie? Bird something.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. Where she's wearing the she's in the
wearing
boat.
The blindfold.
Yeah.
So he added the eyes back to that. He added Tony Stark's eyes back through the helmet of Iron Man. It was just very, very snarky.
Yeah.
And then the next video from him was him being like, basically it just was a caption on a screen with like music that trending sound in the club, we all fam. But the caption on screen was essentially something like trying to explain to Cynthia that it was just a fan edit. And so again, snarky,
and also not even that great of a meme.
No, like terrible choice of meme. Okay,
I've seen better.
I've seen much better. And then I saw another one from him where, because a lot of people pointed out, if this were a fan edit and the only thing you were trying to do was make it more accurate, then why did you make almost no edits to Ariana? Because Ariana, in the original Wicked poster,
moved her hand, right?
That person's hand is further up. She's wearing a white hat, not a crown. She's wearing a dress with long sleeves. There are she has green eyes. There's a lot about Glinda in that movie poster, and you didn't make any of those edits. So the last video I saw from him was him making those edits because he got called out for it. Like, but you only edited Cynthia. So I will just say, Not only do I agree with Cynthia in that she is allowed to feel hurt and allowed to point out this was hurtful to me, but if the person who made the original edit had any integrity at all, the only thing you needed to say was sorry. That's all you needed to say.
So true.
You could have just come out and said, I was not trying to be offensive. All I was trying to do was pay homage to the original poster, but I understand why you're feeling this way. And I am so excited to see this movie. And I do hope that I've generated even more excitement for what's going to be such a great film, but I apologize because I didn't mean to hurt you. If you had any integrity, you would have just done that, because whether you meant it or not, it was hurtful to her. And when you find out you hurt someone, you apologize.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone watching my video and then like releasing a statement how upset they were with me and not me going like me doubling down. Like, could you imagine? No way.
Tripling down.
No way.
To me, that told me everything I needed to know about him. Oh, you're a fan? Okay. Well, we're using that word real lightly. To me,
real lightly.
Like you're a troll. That's what it seems like. Because when you found out how she felt, you could have apologized and you didn't. You doubled, tripled down. So that doesn't sound like fan behavior to me. That sounds like troll behavior.
Yeah, I second everything you said. And I also noticed that there wasn't a lot of edits because that hand was supposed to be like up further or something. And I noticed that they didn't edit that side of it. And I was like, shady.
Yeah.
Shady.
It was shady. It was shady. And that's all I have to say about that. But in terms of what I will say about us going viral and getting dragged across the internet, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of used to it. It was nice not being by myself.
Yeah.
But I do know that once a video crosses over to like the 1 million threshold, the comments tend to get meaner. So I was watching it and monitoring it and going, stay at 500K.
I know. Oh, you are so right about that. I remember like the first time I had a video, by that point I had videos go viral before, but I had not had a video go viral and then go really nasty and racist in the comments.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And the first time that happened, I was shocked. I remember I was in bed, like we were watching something in TV, my husband and I handed him the phone to be like, look at some of these comments. And he was floored.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been getting them all day.
It's crazy. My husband doesn't have social, like any socials. So sometimes I'll like read him some of the comments. He's like, I don't know how you do this. Like, and I'm like, sometimes I just don't open them. Like, I just don't open them and look at them because I'll spiral sometimes at night, like thinking about some of the things. So I just won't open them.
Yeah. I will spiral. Now, the ones that make me spiral typically are not the racist ones because I just block you. If you say something racist, you're getting immediately blocked.
Yeah.
But the ones that will make me spiral are the ones where people are, I feel like they're not understanding me, and sometimes people are just being intentionally obtuse, but sometimes it's like, oh, like I want to make people understand me, so I'll spiral and be like, oh, I should make another video and I should reply with this and I should comment that. And
me too, because I want to comment back and explain myself on every single comment, so I have to stop myself from doing that and being like, you got it wrong, that's not how I meant it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to really stop myself.
I didn't feel that way at all with this. Let me tell you, some of my replies back in terms of this TikTok are just like when people are like, the edit looks way better. My reply was, it doesn't.
I know, I saw that. I loved it. It was great. I'm telling you, it feels different when it's on like not your main account and you could just be
I know.
It's compartmentalize it over there, you know?
It definitely feels different. My favorite comments by far, the ones that really made me crack up, were the ones that were like, oh, someone else has a podcast.
Okay, I was going to bring that up. Somebody said like quotation marks, like, we should start a podcast. And that made me laugh for like 20 minutes. And then also I loved it because I was like, that makes me think that some of these people think that we've been friends for like a really long time. And then we were like, let's make a podcast. And I'm like, see, our chemistry is so good. You guys think we've known each other for like 10 years.
Look at that. I agree. And I also feel like once people start dragging your podcast a little bit, it's almost like you've made it.
Yeah.
Like, do you even really have a podcast if no one is dragging your podcast?
Right. If we didn't make headlines somewhere, do we even have a podcast? It's so true.
It's so true. It's
Next
so
stop,
true.
TMZ. Let's hope not.
Yeah. Let's hope not. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Well, as always, thank you to everyone who does engage. You know, whether you
Mhm.
agree with us or disagree with us, we actually do like engaging online.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we say some things you agree with, but you can always shout us out on TikTok, follow Engage on TikTok, on YouTube. We're there. And as you can see, we do read the comments.
Yeah, we read
So,
them. Even if we type out a response and delete it 3 times,
mhm.
we are there.
Well, with all of that said, should we get into this Sabrina Carpenter, Camilla
Sure.
Cabello
Sure, let's do it.
situation? All right. Well, now before we get into it, let me just say this. As I think I expressed to you at some point prior when we were thinking about doing this episode, the reason I did not want to put it in the main feed is because I just don't know that I'm ready to give Camila Cabello the title of a queen. I really, maybe we'll see by
Mhm.
the end of this how we feel, but if you, I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that she had a bunch of racist tweets and Tumblr posts resurface from like 2012 when she was 14 years old.
No. No, so I don't know about those, but I do take your word. Yeah, I haven't seen them yet. I might have to look them
Yeah.
up after this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and they've been deleted. They're hard to find, but I did find some screenshots on TikTok and on Reddit. And I mean, they were deeply racist. They
Oh,
were
wow.
like, it wasn't just like, now let me be clear. Any non-black person using the N-word at any time is always a problem. Okay. I
Yeah,
want to be very
always.
extremely clear about that.
Yeah.
However, I also understand that sometimes there are people who are not black who use that word in the colloquial way that we use it. And by I don't actually include me in that we because it's not a word I use, but you
Mhm.
know, like use it as like a stand-in for my homeboy, my
Mhm.
friend, my whatever, right? Like you
Right.
can't do that. I'm not excusing that.
No.
But I want
You
to be
still can't do that, yeah.
very clear. But
Mhm.
I do understand that there are people who maybe weren't raised right and do that. However,
Right.
that's not what she was doing. She was using it pejoratively.